Welcome everyone to Two Pagans in a Pod podcast. I am your host today, Fro Double G, and joining me is my wonderful co-host, Beard.
Hi.
And how are you doing today, Beard? How are things over in the other side of the lake?
Other side of the lake isn't bad. I mean, we're still dealing with icy, frozen crap. So, walking to and from places is not fun, but
Yeah, welcome to living in the north, right?
all right. So,
Well,
this is why I always like to use that. Oh God, no, I can't think of the name of the band. I come from the land of ice and snow. Ah,
the immigrant song from Led
yes, the
Zeppelin.
immigrant song, Led Zeppelin. I don't know.
From
My
the
wife
land
would
of
kill
the
me if
ice
she
and
heard that.
snow. Wow, now, why
Because
am I drawing a blank on it now too? Maybe it's because I know the fucking
yeah,
lyrics. It's just the way you said it right there is throwing me off as well, and it's like, what the fuck?
yeah, I totally didn't do it to the tune of the song or say it right. So, um,
From the midnight sun in the hot springs blow. Not blow.
yes.
Holy shit. Oh
Hammer of the gods.
Yeah, we're getting distracted here. We're getting distracted.
We are.
As I'm trying to take my sweater off. Sorry.
Let us get on track today, Fro, with the lovely topic of altars.
Of starting off with a stanza.
But yes. Before we get too far, let us start off with the stanza.
Now, I have my book, the Study Havamal. I have done more research into this in the past little bit, mainly because I'm going to be doing a bit of a review video on it. It is 100% Focus Publishing Company, the Hungen and Moonin. That's their logo. They're focused AF. The writer, Carrie. Oh, I'm drawing a fucking blank. Is it down here? Anyways, the writer or composer of this is also the owner of the company, Focused. Again, this was a gift giving to me for a Christmas present. I don't suggest anyone buy it. If you want, you can use us to go through the different ones or find any other online source of getting hold of it. Do your best you can to prevent this publishing company from getting any money. Unfortunately, my relative did buy this for me. They were trying to be nice. They saw, hey, 3 versions in one. I get it. I will, once again,
counts.
Yeah, I will highly urge any other person who wants to compile these, please do so. Especially if it's not a focused publishing company you go through, that'd be great. Yeah. But that being said, it is the one I have, and we are on the second stanza. So, we'll start off with the Bray translation. Hail, ye givers, a guest is come, say. Where shall he sit within? Much pressed is he who fain on the hearth would seek for warmth and weal. So that one's a little flowery, hard to decipher, if you will. Next we have Thorpe. Givers hail, a guest is come in. Where shall he sit? In much haste is he, who on ways has to try his luck. Again, very, very poetic in its writing. I'm not sure poetic is the right. Yeah, poetic. I don't fucking whatever. We're not writers. We're not whatever. And last, the bellows from this one. Hail to the giver, a guest has come. Where shall the stranger sit? Swift shall he be who swords shall try, the proof of his might to make. Now, why don't you come in and finish us off here with the Hollander, correct?
Yep, the Lee M. Hollander from the Translated Poetic Edda.
Which we do suggest that book.
Yes, this is a very good one. Most of it is in kind of a old-timey Old English format. In the example of, all hail to the givers, a guest hath come. Say where shall he sit? In haste is he to the hall who cometh. to find a place by the fire. Um, Now, I know when we talked about this the other day, I brought up this little tidbit. I'll bring it up again if you want, real quick. Because there's a little annotation here in the Hollander one
Mm-hmm.
that, so referring to all hail to the givers, that is to the host, hospitality is one of the cardinal virtues of Germanic antiquity. The stranger, by the same token a guest, is to be given a quick and friendly reception. So basically annotating that, in that time frame, especially in Germanic antiquity, um, hospitality and being quick and polite about it was extremely important. Which makes a lot of sense. I know me and you have talked about it a couple times, Tro. We've probably brought it up on the podcast a time or two. But you're looking at a day and age where, didn't have the joy of picking up a cell phone and seeing how your buddy across the world is doing. You had to travel. A lot of the time people needed places to stay. And whoever's house they showed up at happened to be probably where they were staying that night.
So yeah, when it comes to the guests, you had like two options, right? You had it's planned out way in advance because of how slow communication worked, or it's a complete surprise, and this is not necessarily the time of inns and all that. Inns did exist in select locations, but generally and not in this area, or in the Nordic area, or far enough back in the Germanic, like pre-Christian era. So if you did have a guest that wasn't planned, they needed a place, and they need you to kind of say yes, no, because I gotta find one by fucking nightfall. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it went on a lot of things. So hospitality and swiftness of decision of yes, no, is a bit of it.
Yup.
So that was our start off with the stanza. Again, hope you're all enjoying it. I've actually enjoyed the fact that it's at least got me to start looking into the different translators. Bray and Thorpe, from my light reading, might not be the bestest of people. I got to do a bit more research and reading into why, because so far the best answer I've gotten is they're just associated with this publishing company that someone took their stuff and put on there. But anyways, feel free to hit us up in the comments, and feel free to inform us on any of that. Again, we are not any sort of book specialist. It is kind of an area we're lacking expertise. Greatly appreciated. Tell us we're dumb. So, on to the actual main topic of today. We have altars. Now, if you are watching this video, it means you have probably searched up the term altar. So we're going to assume, you know what one is, and you know what they're for, right? We're not going to cover that basic stuff here. But we are going to maybe give you different interpretations, ways of looking at it, ways of maybe constructing a few, maybe ways of thinking about things that go on your altar, things like that. As that's kind of, our specialty. Just kind of tell you what two other idiots might be thinking. Oh yeah, episodal reminder, we're just two idiots, we're not experts. Hi.
Yep, we're very much not doctors, doctorates, professors.
No, we're not.
I read a lot of things, I listen to a lot of things, and I watch a lot of things. And then I form an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as best I can do at this point.
And considering this is the first one we're putting on our Pagan, the subreddit, which is a rather huge one, we might get a few new listeners here. Our whole shtick is, again, we're not experts. We have someone who's been Pagan for a longer time. We have someone newer, and we're just kind of giving you our experiences on the journey and our thoughts as we are stumbling around. So we have still trying to figure some things out. Some things like I haven't been dead set in my ways for long versus someone who's been a little more settled but still looking to keep expanding, growing, and adding knowledge. So that's a real quick who's us. Let's get back to these altars, though.
Yes.
So let's get started with different types of altars, Beard. Now,
yes.
I have down in my portion of the notes, we have your starting altar, a virtual altar, a hidden altar, a compact altar, and a mobile altar are going to be basically like your non quote unquote standard ones. And this doesn't include any outside ones or any where it kind of draws the line, like, is it an altar? Is your vey? Is an altar in your vey? We're kind of excluding those.
Yeah.
Beard,
how about you start, or do you want me to start? I was
just going to let you list your one that you wrote down, because
okay. Well, because my one kind of doubles for like mobile, hidden, and compact, because I mean it can be kind of condensed into that.
Yeah, ironically, he just worded it differently, but he just gave a huge explanation on essentially how to go about doing one.
Yeah. So my notation, if we can call it that.
No, don't read the whole thing. I literally just want you to list what you called it, just for the irony.
It's more like a book. Altars with limited home space for singles or couples in apartments or small houses, 1 to 2 bedroom homes. That is what I called it. And then it's a big, long. Yeah.
No. I fucking love and hate Beard at the same time, and we've gone over this. Now, I just told you guys what my list of, like, hey, talking points, right? It was 5 fucking words long. His description of his one point is like 10. It's great. It's fucking great. And then he's like, oh, this is the shorter version. And I'm like, that's my fucking point, Beard. I love you. I hate you, but I love you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I got into the nitty gritty of it. I can't help it.
You know, this is why we're doing it together. So fair. I'm going to go ahead and start us off with touching a little bit more on the different types that I mentioned before we get a little bit more into like how I'll go about them. A very important one I would like to start with, though, is the virtual altar. A lot of people don't realize this is necessarily an option, especially the people who probably should be trying to utilize this option. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with a virtual altar at all. For me personally, though, I definitely prefer a physical, and I feel like most people would. You might not, but the more important part is you might not be able to. So definitely keep in mind that there's nothing wrong with a virtual altar if that's what you're limited to, right? Or I guess if that's what you preferred. I really am assuming that's probably more limited. Unless your space is very confined, I'm going to assume most people, like I said, probably want a physical one. So for a virtual altar, this can literally be something as simple as multiple pieces of artwork put together in some sort of collage, different images photoshopped and stitched together, again, in some sort of collage. It can be a great art piece that you use. In a virtual altar, it's not necessarily about the items or anything like that. It's wholeheartedly you're using it to just get kind of in that headspace, right? Again, because nothing's physical. So whatever would help with that. It's a picture of a Mjolnir, like anything. And again, I think it's a very good option. There are on your phone, if you wanted to look at things on your phone, you could always there are different apps that are candle burning apps. If you wanted to like combine your computer monitor with some sort of representation and then use your phone as like a candle, or if you just wanted to use your phone with the candle app and have that suffice, if that's good enough for you. There are many options to do it virtually. It's a really good way for people who are in the pagan broom closet. And it also segues really well into the next one, the hidden altar. almost all virtual altars fall under hidden, whether it's intentional or not, just because of how easily you can turn that screen off. So, segue onto the hidden altars. Beard, did you ever have a hidden altar at all? Or a virtual altar at all, before we get too far?
Virtual
I feel like I don't
altar,
really need to
no.
elaborate on what a hidden one is, right? It's just like a physical,
Right.
like one that you keep
Um,
hidden or out of sight.
I mean, hidden by technicality, but not intentionally. So, in the point, and this kind of goes into the notes here, and I guess I can be a great time to explain this. For a segue. So one of the things, um, is like for an altar, be it a hidden altar, compact altar, or even doubling as a mobile altar, having what I would refer to as a makeshift altar, utilizing whatever space you happen to have. Um, like one of my very first altars, I was in a one bedroom apartment, didn't have a lot of room. Like my bedroom fit my bed, and then I had my living room, which had my TV stand and a bookshelf. And that's all that fit in there. And then I had a small little corner I could put my desk in. So what I did on my bookshelf is throughout my bookshelf, I had all of my different pieces. So they would be basically decorations on my bookshelf. Um, so people come over and they could see it and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, these cool little decorations." But then when I wanted to utilize my altar, I could then take those pieces from the different parts of the bookshelf, and then I had a little like stand that I basically just put everything on that was sitting next to it, and would just put it all on there, do my offering, my ritual, whatever I needed to do, and then when I was done, would just store it all back where it was on my bookshelf. So that's why I wouldn't say it was hidden intentionally per se, because it was there in plain sight, and it was just for utilizing like storage space,
Yeah, it was
trying
functionally
to make it look
collapsible.
yeah,
It's not necessarily hidden. That's
yeah,
more of collapsible.
yeah.
Before we get too far into this, uh, sorry, it was supposed to be sandwiched in between the virtual altars and before we moved on to physical. But I'm sorry, it just segued too well into hidden that where I fucked up.
That's good.
Key items for an altar. Uh, Obviously, this is why we wanted to cover it first. We believe that there's only about 3 items that you may consider key items for your altar. A bowl or a bowlie.
Uh,
Go ahead.
And I would like to preface that in case you aren't specifically a Norse, heathen, also true, pagan, or Norse pagan, these are items that we as Norse pagans would consider the key items. Because if you're not a Norse pagan, you're listening to this, keep in mind that those key items might slightly change depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, if you're a Kemetic listening to this may or may not all apply to you. No guarantees. So, 3 key items that may apply to the heathen altar is a bowl or a bowlie, which is essentially some sort of dish or a bowl to hold your offering or your libation or anything really that you're offering. That's just kind of, this is why it's kind of like what we consider the key part, is because like even if you're offering water, you, unless you're just dumping it right down the drain, if it's going to be on your altar at all, like you're probably going to need some sort of bowl or something. It doesn't have to be necessarily a special bowl. It can be just a momentary bowl or a bowl for or your bowlie for the night, if you will. I have a separate one. That's just me. They also only cost like $2 at Dollar General. I got one that I thought looked kind of pretty. I started off with one that was literally just a $2 basic, nothing, plain, just porcelain or ceramic bowl. Those honestly look just as fine. Sometimes simple is elegant. So, after the bowl, the next one would be a candle. This we only find relevant just because it's so common in spirituality in general, candle or incense. And a lot of it has to do with just the smoke and the flames, how it rises up, kind of like a symbolism representing things being rising up to, the sky and being dissipated throughout the world. And a lot of times that's used to seen like as being accepted or sent up to the gods. Whether that's your intent, your thought, your wishes, a representation of the offering itself, etc., etc., etc. Candles, incense, very, very common. I know Beard and I both partake in them. Yeah. Out of the three, this is the one that you could probably argue is not needed the most, or is needed the least amount. There we go. But you probably will more likely to find it just as often on any of the other altars as anything else. So, the last one. Oh, do you got something? Go ahead.
I mean, for me, no. Go ahead, continue. It was just, I don't know. I had a weird thought that that's gonna segue us too hard into something else. So go ahead.
All right.
So I don't want to derail us today.
Last key item that we have here is a hammer or a Mjolnir. I mean, Mjolnir specifically, right? But a hammer. And the reason I put hammer is because it's in Beard and I's personal opinions that you don't have a hammer necklace, hammer figurine, Thor with a figurine, any sort of thing like that. You want to just go get a fucking hammer from the shed or the garage, or hammer from your $10 toolkit, or whatever the fuck it is. It's all about the symbolism anyways. So good enough, right? And the only reason we even have the Mjolnir is to simply invoke Thor, right? The protector god, the protector of humans. Like, he's used for Halloween quite a bit. That's it. Thoughts on that one there, Beard?
No, I mean it's spot on. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've used a hammer out of a toolbox. I've also used a meat mallet before. That was an interesting one. It was the only one that I could find at the time, so I was like, screw it. It's a hammer. We're gonna go with it.
Yeah, it's all symbolism, right?
I proceeded to make steak immediately after it was tasty.
Fucking pounded that steak flat with the power of Thor, I'm sure.
I did. Bakes, do you want to say hi real quick?
Oh shit! Wait,
hi, YouTube
is that the fourth one? Is that the fourth cat?
Nope. Wait, so I've seen Binks has been on before. There was Sticky that one day.
I can't remember all the cats. I'm sorry.
Well, but it's the Black Binks. It's the old Gray Winston. And it's the blonde Ghost, and then the mixed Sticks. There's a way to remember the colors.
I mean, I'll do my best, but I see them maybe once a week, and it's not everyone. That's so we'll go with it. Plus, all the podcast listeners are like, dude, we see 0 cats. We give no fucks right now. Just like
Binks looks like a chubbier version of the cat from Hocus Pocus, just for our audio listeners.
Its name.
Hence his name being Binks.
I mean, it's got its name before it became chubby. That's irrelevant.
This is true.
So,
and he walks with a waddle because he's old and has a hurt leg.
Anyway. Now that we covered the key items, that's going to take us right back into the types of altars. Your starting altar. My opinion, your starting altar is going to be, honestly, probably just going to be the cheapest stuff you can find, the most convenient stuff you can find. It's probably going to be minimal, right? Then there's nothing wrong with any of that. My very, very first altar, and I didn't actually post a picture of it. I have pictures set up for everything else. My very first altar was a red washcloth that I got from Dollar Tree, and a bowl that I got from Dollar Tree. Trying to think what else I had. Oh, and a few rocks that I had that I went and painted with fingernail polish. So I bought a thing of fingernail polish while I was at the Dollar Tree as well. Mainly because, fingernail polish lasts a while and it comes with a mini paintbrush, right? So I'm like, perfect. I don't have to go buy paintbrushes, special paintbrushes just for this shit and sealable shit. And I could keep it right in my fucking small, compact, not too terribly much. And I just wrote in runes, like different, like things for the gods, right? For a Thor, I just wrote down like literally Thor and then used that as a representation until I was able to improve and swap things out. So like my starting altar was literally a few rocks painted, a bowl, and a washcloth. Oh, and a candle. What do you know? And I used my Mjolnir that I used. I would just, grab hold of that and use that to pray on. And this one, starting altars, I don't really think they need to be brought up, aside from the fact that, like, I kind of wanted to bring up how you could do it super cheap and off, like, anything. Like, Dollar Tree, Dollar Store, you can make one under $10. If you really were trying, you could do it under $5. I'm only bringing it up just to tell everyone, your altar is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's all right. Doesn't matter if other people have statues that cost more than your entire thing. It doesn't matter what you have. If it works for you, if you're just getting going, whatever reasoning you have, it is good. It's good enough.
Most definitely. I mean, so long as it gets, so long as it works for you to get done what you are trying to accomplish with the use of your altar.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, and then like once you have the very basics of whatever you're looking to have initially, then you can add things as you go. You can replace stuff out. So when you have the means, if you want to go buy that $200 Thor idol off of Etsy or Amazon or wherever the hell you're finding it, because you can afford it, go for it. Do you
Yeah, if you want
absolutely have to have
free.
it? Yeah. Do you absolutely have to have it all the time right at the beginning? No. But,
I mean, you don't have to have it ever.
Right. So, I mean, it is completely up to you when and if you get it, but, know with whatever you have, as long as it works for you, it does what you want it to do or accomplish, it allows you to accomplish what you want to accomplish, then it is the altar for you.
And now the last one I had was the compact altar. Now I said compact essentially as something small, similar to Hidden, but people who are necessarily limited on space. And I also put compact on here before I had seen Beard, or before Beard actually put his. So I'm not actually going to cover that myself. Just again, I'm just going to use it as a touching point. If yours is a tea light and not a fucking, 36 hour, 4-tier, fucking 3-wick, like candle that you use, you have a small ramekin that you use instead of some fucking big ass ornate ceramic bowl, all of that's fine, right? Like, this is not some sort of fucking celestial dick measuring contest, or I guess not celestial, ritualistic dick measuring contest. Okay, when I say that as a sentence, that also did not work out very well.
Nope.
This is not some devotional dick measuring contest, and I'm sticking with it this time. Like, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't sound much better.
No, I'm sticking with it this time. I knew what I said this time. I knew it. I thought that one out. So,
well,
I'm kidding. I love you guys. So, anyways, the size doesn't really matter. Anything that. Again, a lot of these are just bringing them up just so, like, there's no reason to be insecure about any of this shit or feel off-put it because of other people, or let other people make you feel off-put. Oh, shit. I said that was the last one. I lied. I have one last one. The mobile altar. Forgot to bring up the mobile altar. I think a mobile altar will look a lot like your starting altar. It'll probably be a little more ornate if you're trying to, like, if most people go to make an intentional mobile altar, they probably already have a regular altar, right? They've probably had a few at this point. So might be kind of pieced together. But I think the key thing about any mobile altar, you have to look at every single thing in that like you're okay with losing it. Because you might. Like, don't put anything in your mobile altar that you will feel distressed about losing. It's okay to be upset that you lose something, right? But it's if you're like literally going to be all distraught, like, holy shit, I just lost my fucking $30 decorative Mjolnir that I had in my travel kit. It probably wasn't the Mjolnir for your travel kit, if that's how you're going to feel about it, right? Like, if you get a piece of actual fine china to use as your travel bully and you get upset that it breaks in your bag, who the fuck's fault is that? Realistically, right. I mean, it is kind of one of those things. So I just really want to bring people up. If you go to make a travel altar, which I do suggest, I have one that I have a dish that I use for my travel altar, and then I use all my jewelry. I posted it again. Fuck, I should have brought this picture because I had a perfect picture that I posted when I did an offering in my hotel room. But I had my heavier wolf chain and Mjolnir necklace. I had my oath ring bracelet, right? And I had just another bracelet that's got the Vegvisir. I know it's not Viking. It's fucking decorative. I like it. It looks cool. Fuck off, right? I don't ever claim it's Viking or historic at all. But anyways, so I got that. And I have a little bowl that is a Pyrex bowl because it's my travel one. So I got Pyrex. It's not expensive, super durable. Come on, think about it, people. It's a great idea. And I painted some runes on it, like different protection runes, like the Elgaze and the Tor rune. Actually, I don't think Tor's on that one. It's like Elgaze. And I'm not getting into the fucking whatever rune's on that right now. But yeah, then when I got to the hotel room, I just had to get out my one dish and my wallet, which I will show my wallet. Once again, it's a Vegvisir, but my wife bought this all for me, and I don't give a fuck. I'm not claiming it's historic. Bring it up here. This is handmade. If I had the link to the dude on Etsy, I'd show you, but my wife got it for me. It's all handmade, beautiful. I use this, my bracelets, my necks. I just literally set everything out, and that was my altar. And as soon as the offering was done, all the shit back on. Well, I mean, I technically showered, but if I wasn't going to shower, all the shit would have went back on, and I just left the dish with the offering in there. Like, that's also perfectly fine. I suggest jewelry as well as something to think about when making a travel altar. So, yeah. Before I let Beard go on his big long rant,
I'll keep it kind of on track.
I just wanted to real quickly show everyone my altars that I have. I'll do my best to describe it here for everyone real quickly because I know a lot of you are listening, but for all you video watchers, here we go. So first off, this is my daughter's, my youngest altar. She's kind of fallen somewhere in the pagan thing, but we're kind of just sticking with more like of a fairy altar for her, or a spirit altar, if you will. And again, if all those are looking, you can see examples. There's just various stones. There's some flowers. She's got the 4-element representation. This photo's actually missing it, but she's got a little piece of fire, like a little Play-Doh fire that she's got on there. Various fairies to represent the spirits. We got, just different little pieces of art. She's got a little Mjolnir button on there. And it's very much so, looks like a kid's fairy altar, but I think it's very well done. I mean, I did help her with some of it, just as far as like positioning it, but most of the stuff she decided that she wanted to put on there. And some of the things on there, like she has some souvenirs from a vacation. Like I was like, hell yeah, dude, you bought those with intentions with your own money. But then there's other things on there. I mean, most of them mean something, or to at least to her, right? But then there's a golden unicorn because she wanted one. She wanted a golden unicorn kitty keychain, so it's there. Right? So it's like not everything on there has meaning. But I mean, if Beard can pretty much so attest to that, it's pretty much so that in a Squirtle keychain. And even then,
yeah,
the Squirtle keychain has meaning in our family because that Squirtle keychain came from fucking McDonald's or Burger King from when I was her age, and that was my good luck charm fishing because I grew up on a lake. And that was my good luck charm, and I now have passed it down onto my youngest kid. So even then, that has meaning. So it's like literally on her altar, it's just the golden unicorn that's meaningless, but to her, it might have meaning. This Squirtle did to me when I was her age. So there's a very good example of that. And to move on quickly, because again, I know podcast listeners can't see, we're going to move on to my land spirit altar. Now, oh no, the photo's not popping up. That's very unfortunate.
Oh, no.
So, let's see if I can get it up here real quickly, or if it's just going to be too large. It might just be too large. Oh no, perfect. Got it back up just in time. Perfect size and everything. So this is the one to the land whites, the house whites. A lot of these are overflow from my other altar. And I try to keep this very, very much so representative and symbolic. Hence why, if you noticed, I took some cinnamon and I made it to look like a fire, stacked up like firewood, and then encircled that in salt so they have somewhere safe. Smells nice. It's like a fire would kind of smell, very aromatic. So it's like kind of the combination of the two. They have a little well that I made for the house spirits to be refreshed in. There's also a little tea shop there too, and just little things like that. I have some rocks painted with some nature representation. I have I forget the name, a tamta, which is the actual name for like the yard gnomes that you can't, the gnomes where all you see is the nose poking out with the hat, the pointy hats. It's the tamta. They actually represent house spirits way back when. That was originally my Thor representation because it was just a red beard, and it's the best thing I had besides my Medi Molnirs. Move that out of my house spirit. I got a candle that's got an animal carved on it, various flowers, rocks painted like ladybugs. Where I live, those two sticks in the background, there are no trees on my property, like just because, unfortunately, where we're at, I have no idea where these fucking random ass decent sized sticks showed up from, because like, if you saw my property, it would be very much so like, what the fuck? But yeah, these just kind of randomly showed up, so I kept them. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Like, again, the only thing on here that's kind of a bit odd. Oh, real quickly, there is a clay Molnir my kid painted right in front of that Tamta, by the way. I do think that's cute as shit. But the only thing on here that is kind of like quote unquote random is there's a clay donut that my kids made. But again, symbolism, it's just a treat for the land spirits. Here's an offering. It's right next to their tea shack thing. You know, again, just trying to hit the symbolism, trying to make the spirits see, like, look, you're welcome here. I keep hitting my mic. Trying to make the spirits be like, look, you're welcome here. Trying to provide gifts. Trying to build that relationship, right? And
100%.
last one is my actual altar. I have brought this up before. My altar, I've taken a lot of inspiration from the Mexican ofrendas. I do have a bit of Mexican in me. So I've taken a little bit of inspiration from that. Hence all the pictures. Plus, you know, pictures are worth 1,000 words. That's definitely true. I have Father's Day gifts on there. I have gifts from my kids that they've made me. As a parent, I'm not sure if you guys have been able to tell on all these. Art made by my kids, if it's always got a soft spot for me, right? So it makes its way onto my altar, and it gets swapped out occasionally. Like even on this one, this is my one I actually pray to. If you notice, there's two pictures drawn there. One of a penguin because that's my wife's favorite animal, and one is a cat because I love cats, and I believe that I have a feline philia. And I think my daughter did a very good job on both of those, especially the penguin too. By the way, it's a shame that it's hidden because she did a phenomenal job for a 7-year-old. I got my bully. Got like fucking 7 candles. I got my oath ring, Mjolnir, just a whole slew of things. You mentioned earlier how it looks very busy. It is very busy. Anybody who's a parent will be able to tell you. Yeah. Life just gets busy.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to toot my own little horn, and you mentioned it earlier, it's like, oh, the one with the mirror. That is a big old vanity mirror in the back. Not big, it's like a smaller one, but that is a vanity mirror in the back, right? But on the wooden piece, that also is mirrored on both sides as well. When I get all of the candles going on this thing, between just the light from like the 6 candles and all the mirrors, I'm not gonna lie, dude, it does kind of give you a little bit of that, like, it's pretty. It's very pretty. I mentioned how when I pray, I like to be at kind of eye level. This really just kind of adds to it because it almost like doubles the amount of candles and everything. So it's very nice. Yep. So there are my 3 altars that I have in my house, along with the items I have on it, and kind of the inspiration. Beard. I know I've been holding you back this whole time. Been slowing you down. We've avoided the last little bit. We've danced around what really probably is going to be a super common altar that a lot of people are probably going to have.
Right.
And that would be the long ass titled one that's essentially a compact one, or someone who has a family and not much space.
Correct.
I don't want to say compact because compact really kind of gives it like that it's going to be small, but we'll just go with someone who's limited. You worded it. Fucking you just re-say it. How about that?
It's altars with limited home space. So
fucking there you go.
Single,
congratulations. You nailed it good. You explained your own words very well. I'm fucking proud of you. Much better than I ever could.
I dub it like the makeshift or tearaway altar to, I mean, whatever, however you want to refer to it, however you want to set it up, really is up to
I mean, you just watched me try to describe it, and it's not however you want. I failed like a motherfucker.
Well, that's fair. So, I mean, because for me personally,
real quick, Beard. I don't know what's power fapping in the background, but you might want to wait until that's done before you start talking.
Power fapping?
It just sounds like something's like slapping the shit out of something. It's gone away. I don't know. It was when you were talking. Maybe your noise gate cut it out, but.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't have anything like that at all. Not that I hear anyway. Maybe it might have been cache. Maybe I guess. So, for me personally, this is kind of what I've always done. Is had this kind of like makeshift. Maybe you could call it a temporary altar, maybe you call it a compact, maybe you call it a mobile altar, maybe you call it a temporary altar even. But it's just always what's worked for me because again, I haven't had a lot of space. Because prior to having 3 kids, I was single living in a 1-bedroom apartment like I described. You know, I had a bookshelf in a living room that I could scatter my stuff across on because that's the only place that I could store it. And then I just had this little like side table thing that I had that it was a full, I didn't mention it. It was a folding side table. So I have to pull it out, unfold it, do what I needed to do, fold it back up, put it away.
That sounds happening again, by the way.
Is it? What the hell? Well, I apologize that there is fapping.
There it is again.
I think I might know what it is. Let me turn something off real quick.
Boy, I hope that hasn't been going all audio. Because as someone who does all the audio editing, that shit can be awfully difficult to fucking remove. Like, I was explaining this to Beard. He's not here anyways. So I'm going to tangent on my own now. I was explaining to him the other day. It's very, very difficult to edit out background sounds while someone's speaking. Like right now, how I'm speaking, Beard can be fucking doing it. He can punch a hole in his wall, whatever. You guys wouldn't hear anything because I'm just going to, well, everyone who's watching on YouTube's gonna, because I'm recording the video via OBS. But any of our podcast listeners, they're going to definitely hear.
All right. I had a little visitor there. I don't know if he showed up on camera.
Yes.
He did. Okay. Uh, so that was the little man. Cueing that we're getting close to the end here. So, like I said, I dubbed this the makeshift terrorite altar because again, it's the only thing I've had because of limited personal space. Because prior to having kids and a family, you know, I lived single in a small based apartment that didn't have a lot of room in it. So like one idea that I always considered that I didn't do is do like a wall mounted shelving is an option for anybody out there, to set up a dedicated space. If you're not concerned about decoration, just kind of sticking it wherever you have wall space to put it on. But ultimately the concept, kind of like I described earlier with the bookshelf, is well, the best way to do it is to just throw another example. So currently, for the YouTube listeners, they can see that I'm clearly at a desk. I have an L-shaped desk. So to my right, basically right under my monitor right now, I have an additional little shelving unit attached to my desk. I have an array of items on there, most of which are my altar-based items. Whenever I need to do a ritual or an offering or something like that, and I'm doing it here inside my home, I will do it here on my desk. I spend a lot of time at my desk. One, because I podcast with Fro. Two, I stream. Three, I do a lot of things just on my computer. So a lot of my time is spent in this space. So it makes sense to keep it close to a space where I am pretty consistently. So what I do is the items that I don't readily have on my desk at all times, like a bowl, for example. I don't always have a candle or an incense on my
God
desk.
damn it. This stoner in me just came out for a minute.
What?
I was like, what the fuck are you having a pipe for? You said a bowl. Like I said, the stoner for a minute came out. I'm like,
yeah, bro.
Sorry. I live in Michigan, y'all.
Yeah.
You don't get the context? It's like living in Cali.
But yeah, anyway, so I will add those missing items that I feel is necessary, or like, depending on what I'm doing, my ritual or offering or whatever I'm using my altar for, or I feel the need to use my altar at that point. Sometimes I'll grab an additional item or two that I feel is necessary. But I also do things like I'll store my rings on this. You know, I'll store my Mjolnir on it, so that way it's there when I need it. And I think that's, I don't know, for me, it's always worked, again, because of limited space, because I've never been able to have just a dedicated space within my home. Be it because it hasn't gone with the decor, or two, we just don't have the space. I have 4 cats. Leaving a dedicated altar space out is a nightmare. Because they will take things and steal things. At least my cats will. So
I want to have a bit of a mini rant. Excuse the cough. So I don't know for sure, and I have zero proof, but I've had my altar for a while now, and not once has my cat got on it, except for when I cleared off half of it so it looked like an open space, right? I go on vacation for a week, and I come back, and conveniently, all the shit on my altar, like solid 75% of it, is knocked over or moved in some way, shape, or form, including the pictures I showed. My wife's very Catholic grandma stayed house sitting and actually was using our bedroom to stay in instead of having to sleep on the couch. I have no proof. And I'd hate to make baseless accusations. But it is pretty convenient that the very extremely Catholic lady was staying in our room the same week that the cat conveniently decided to hop on her thing. And also she did text my wife to ask, is it okay to sleep in this room because that stuff in the corner? Rant over. Vane engaged. Again, I'd hate to make baseless accusations with zero evidence.
Yeah, I mean, it is very convenient that the cat happened to jump up while you were gone.
Very, isn't it?
Very, very convenient. Now, if only my cats were so well trained. Because my cats are on my desk constantly trying to take things and steal things and sniff at things, and anyway.
So you have a, like, do you your cats like your computer chair?
Yes, one of them
right,
for sure
there's
does.
room for one, right? But if the computer chair's open, like, that's like option A, right?
Yeah. That
right.
There's gonna be at least one of them in it at some point in time.
Mine was open the whole week, and that's also my cat's option A.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Very convenient. Very convenient.
I will say, if it was my witch closet, because I actually have like a little witch supply closet now. It's witch and art supplies. It'd be more understandable because that used to be my dresser. And I would let my cat go into the bottom part of it. Like, I didn't actually keep anything in the bottom, so it's like, whatever, you want to go to the bottom, I don't care. Anyways, go ahead and finish your rant. Tell us about your breakaway altars and your tips and your tricks.
Yeah, I mean, without, getting back into like the bookshelf idea, just, if you're wanting to, and this works too for someone who wants to have that hidden altar, because, you don't want people coming over and asking you what it is because you're afraid of the reactions you're going to get. Having something that's breakaway or that's kind of in plain sight, but not overtly bringing attention to itself. Having like a desk space that you have dedicated for, that's going to be where your altar is going to go. You just don't have all your items there. And maybe you store them in other places nearby. Maybe you store them throughout your house because you want to use those items for, air quotes, decoration. Because maybe you are a decor sensitive person. Like one thing too, like my wife is very adamant about how the house looks in terms of like how it's decorated. We have 3 kids, so it's very difficult. But like, if you're like that, or maybe you are a couple and one of you is more prevalent to making sure the house looks nice and the rooms match or whatever like that.
More keen to aesthetic and the feng shui of the room.
Yeah. I mean, if I had the luxury of doing it, I would, but we have 5 kids. Well, feels like it some days. We have 3 kids.
You want to hear what drives me crazy?
What?
My wife likes blank walls.
Oh God.
Yeah. She thinks it looks more aesthetically pleasing if there's nothing, if the wall is just clean and nothing on it. Now, with some exceptions, right? Because, like, we do have, like, a clock. There you go, bud. That was the exception. One spot, we have a spot to hang our keys.
Wow.
Like, we're hitting minimalists. Like, she hung up her calendar.
Gods forbid.
I think that's those 3 things are the only 3 things we have hung out in our, like, our main area. This right here makes up like I guess my kids got some posters in their room, right? Because I think they each got like one or two hung up. But yeah, everyone else, no. Like I got this tapestry I want to hang up, but she's just not really too keen on it. And like it only fits in one spot in our room, and it's like, yeah, I have this great tapestry, but it's about yay wide, like the width of this thing back here. But unfortunately, I got this right there, and I got the little divide in the middle, so I didn't really want to fuck with it. But anyways.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I could go into a lot of other. I could think of other examples and things like that, but I mean, like personal things for me, like in my altar is like I have pictures of my kids. I have little trinkets that they make me, especially little man, or little trinkets that I've made. Because
What do you mean by like trinkets?
Well, like the things that I've made, like are mainly like little miniatures that I've painted over the years for D&D or for tabletop games. Cash likes to give me like he'll get like those, put them together McDonald's toys or whatever, and he'll hand them to me. Or he'll make something at school. He'll bring it over, like just like at school one day he made a. In fact, I can grab it. Sorry for the loud noise. I had to move my mead thing because I gotta finish bottling it, and it sits on my desk right now. So he went to school, and he loves. Well, he hasn't really watched them too much lately, but he used to watch them on repeat. But he liked Toy Story, so at school.
I fucking hate Toy Story.
He made a Forky.
That is great.
So it sits on my desk.
I appreciate it. I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer right there, but like, dude, I fucking hate Toy Story. And I have 3 kids as well. And Pixar's like, you know what makes a shit ton of money? Toy Story. Let's make more. Dude, I fucking hate Toy Story. It is cute as shit. Like, I'm not trying to take away from that at all. It is very cute. I like the Forky.
Yes, he did a very good
I
job.
also really hated that, they were selling Forky toys? Like actual licensed Forky toys?
Yep, I know. We bought one.
Fucking
my wife did. She bought it for.
The motherfucker better be 3 feet tall. It better be a 3 foot tall plastic fork. That's the only acceptable thing I'll take. If it's just a plastic fork size, because the one I'm talking about, they sold like plastic fork size. Like, yeah, I can understand getting like the larger ones.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's like yay tall.
We're talking a foot tall one. Yeah, they don't make foot tall plastic forks. That I understand. No, I saw at a store. It was like plastic fork size Forky. I don't know if it was a fucking plastic fork. I'm assuming it wasn't. It was made out of plastic metal, or out of the doll type plastic. But I was like, this is asinine to a whole nother level.
People are gonna buy it. Whereas my 5-year-old, which I think he was 4 when he made that one, but he put one together himself using stuff at school, just like she did in the movie, which I thought was fantastic.
No, yes, that's great. I love that. That is fantastic. Your son's Forky, I fucking love. The ones at the store.
Yeah, the one when she showed it to me, because I think it was either for his birthday or it was for Easter. I don't remember which, but she brought it home and I looked at her and I go, he made one of these at school, right? And she goes, but he loves Forky. And I'm like, how much did you spend on this? And she goes, it was a pretty penny. I'm like, oh God, honey. Like, if we wanted to have him have another Forky, we should have just bought a box of plastic sporks. Some crafting supplies, which we have tons of.
They don't make foot tall plastic forks. I get it. Let's end this episode before we keep shitting on Toy Story.
Yeah. So, I mean,
so I don't like Toy Story. I can keep shitting on it.
But if anybody has ideas or examples like with how like I was saying, where you have like a makeshift altar or something that like you hide, whether it's intentional or unintentional in plain sight, feel free to put those comments out there for people. Um, if you don't and you just have it out in your thing, feel free to leave us comments about what you have on your altar, what kind of things are important to you to put on your altar, and share with everybody.
Yeah, honestly, if you got, I mean, first off, it'd be cool if you like were to subscribe, like, follow, and all that other stuff, or
That too.
whatever it
That too.
is on your various platform that you're on. But if you could down in the comments, like, post any links to, actually, I think links are disabled. Sorry, but maybe suggest some websites to check out for like some good images for people to use. Not any like websites to like shop from or anything like that, but like any sort of like free stuff for people to use that's actually free. If you want to go ahead and share like what you do, your examples, like Beard was saying, like get a bit of a conversation going. Like I'm pretty good about responding to all the comments, mainly because we don't get many right now, which obviously makes it easier. But yeah, and just get some ideas. We brought it up a few times. We're working on our craft. If you have something we didn't mention, fucking bring it up. Someone else might not have, like, we may know about it and just didn't bring up intentionally because we for whatever reason, but someone else down in the comments might not know about it. So bring it up. Let's chat.
And speaking of crafts, this is kind of wasted on our audio listeners, unfortunately. So if you're an audio listener and you want to see what I'm showing in my hands right now, please go over to our YouTube, go towards the end of the video.
Or you could describe it, you motherfucker.
I am going to describe it. So in my hands, I have a black matte bottle.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop before we go too far. As someone who's new to podcasting, you should have just led with "let me describe" with what I have, instead of going for those who can't see and then going on the spiel, because it kind of gets people to give the immediate like, well, fuck, he's about to do something I can't partake in, right? Even if it is for like the momentary 10 seconds.
Fair. I should have led with that.
No, that's going to just lead with, let me describe, for those of you who can't see, let me describe it, so it's like right into acknowledging, like, hey, stay engaged. Yes. I know I'm about to do something that you can't like fully engage with, but I'm going to help you stay engaged with the best you can.
I'm not a podcast pro like you are, bro.
I'm not a pro either. It's just the little, I do the little things okay, as I'm like actually going against good podcasting and like still talking about this subject that I could have dropped like a minute ago.
So let me describe this lovely black matte covered bottle that has tied to it a Wunjo, I can't pronounce it correctly. A rune that represents happiness, security, and merriment, basically. And then on the bottle in gold.
It's the rune that looks like the P.
Yes, the rune that looks like the P. Who are less inclined with that.
Well, I mean, if you're not going to fucking pronounce it.
Well, if I can, since I can't pronounce it correctly, I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
So on the bottle in gold marker, free-handed, because I suck, I don't have a stencil or stickers yet, is the lovely bind rune, which I think we talked about it last episode when I brought it up. So I'm holding the mock-up bottle of how I'm going to be bottling my mead. So my friend, as of our recording, it is Tuesday. My friend is going to be picking me up from work tomorrow. I'm giving this bottle to her, and then we're actually we're going to run over. We have like a farmers co-op in town that we're going to go over and see if we have any local farms that do honey. So I can start trying to do local stuff. So if you live in the lovely state of Wisconsin, hit me up. Right now, I am not selling them because I do not have the licensing to do so. But as I have extra bottles, I am more than happy to gift to people to try. As I further out my recipe and get better at it and try new things. Tomorrow we are also trying the batch of strawberry mead that I made. So we're looking forward to that. But I'm yeah. So we are. I'm taking the brewing thing very seriously. So it's been really exciting, lots of fun. Slowly getting my wife into being excited about it. She's excited about the strawberry one. So but yeah, if you live in Wisconsin, hit me up. We also have our Facebook group for the Wisconsin Pagan Resources, I think is what we called it.
Yep.
Yeah. So go check that out. We have a Facebook group. Come join us. We use it as a sharing point of content, crafting, whatever. We just kind of share in there as a way to connect with fellow pagans in general there. And then Fro, I believe you have one from Michigan, right? And that is the
Heathens, Wiccans, Pagans of Southwest Michigan. Heathens, Wiccans, and Pagans of Southwest Michigan.
And then of course we have our shared Discord, the Great Lakes Pagans. So if you're in any of the Great Lakes states, from Wisconsin to Michigan to New York.
Yes, New York counts. The west side of New York is attached to a Great Lake.
I can't remember any of the other states off the top of my head for some reason.
Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, Minnesota,
Indiana,
Wisconsin, Indiana,
Illinois, which I think you just said.
Michigan, and
Michigan.
Whatever one I'm forgetting about. You're probably the loser that no one likes. Oh, never mind. I mentioned Ohio.
Oh, why is everyone shitting on Ohio?
I'm from Michigan. We have to. But I don't know why the rest of the country is getting on this train, but fucking A right. I'm about it. I'm kidding. I love you, Ohio. Well,
I spent many enjoyable years living in Ohio.
I've been there. I like your Hall of Fame. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's nice.
Anyways, awesome.
Yeah. So join any of those groups. If you're in Canada, live in Canada, and you're like in the Great Lakes area, I don't know what fucking one you besides like Ontario, because Michigan, friends with y'all. But if you're in the area, that feel free to join as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that as an American, it wasn't necessarily geared with that in mind. Not that you're not welcome, not that we can't accommodate, but
100% welcome. And by all means, like if you are from Canada and you are in the Great Lakes section of Canada, let us know so we can we'll work with you to help narrow that down, like what territories or however it's broken down for you guys up there.
I'm pretty sure they probably know what state they're closest to, and they could probably just grab the roll accordingly, but just be wary. I think that's gonna have to. I need to quit fucking saying I've done it a whole bunch today, but I guess it doesn't matter anyways because this is the end, and that's what I'm getting at. Goodbye.
Bye.
That was a good episode. Love y'all.